Hello, everyone. Sarah with sarahpicaro.com. Today, I wanted to talk to you about something that I see often and something I've even experienced myself, and that is a struggle, an internal battle and struggle, an internal conflict when you come from an emotionally abusive, unavailable, and neglectful past, and you've moved past or you moved on that, you still struggle. And the struggle is in healthy relationships. It doesn't make sense to struggle in healthy relationships. But as we dive into this, it will make more sense. So, the School of Life just shared one of the sadder symptoms of not having been treated well in childhood. And I have so many videos on this. I talk about childhood trauma, childhood emotional neglect, or what's otherwise known as CEN as the acronym. And one of the sadder symptoms of having been not treated well in childhood is this development and a tolerance, or what they call an appetite. So, almost a hunger for not being treated entirely nicely by partners in adulthood. So, everything that's developed and established in childhood, and the most critical, crucial, significant thing that all children, all people develop in childhood are beliefs about themselves, deep subconscious, deeply rooted internal beliefs about themselves that shape and form identity. And that dictates the engagement and then interaction with the world, with the ways that you view society, culture, norms, all of those things. And we think it's normal that this just is the way it is. And it shapes our language, it shapes the way that we view things, the way that we see things, and the lens and the filter in which we experience and look at things through. So I like the way they put this. As graduates of rocky pasts, we are at high risk for ending up recklessly passive partners who don't appear to have much interest in our true needs or aspirations, aka you end up with narcissists. You end up with people with narcissistic traits, people who don't have emotional maturity or availability, and therefore you don't get an experience with a healthy version of that. They run from conflict instead of really sitting and bringing resolution to conflict. They run, they blame shift, they say that it's your fault, they say that you are the reason for, and they're always pointing the finger at you. And when that happens over time, when that happens enough, when that happens repetitively, you begin to believe it, because every time it happens, you feel it. And then you begin to internalize and interpret feelings. And those are developed into beliefs about yourself. Maybe they're right. Maybe there's some truth to that. And then you reflect on it. This is what I call the gaslighter mind. And we go into this in more depth in my free masterclass. That this is something that has you continuously second guess and question yourself and wonder, maybe they're right. Maybe there's some truth to that. And then you begin to process that as if it is the truth about you. And again, that shapes and forms your identity. So, where others would need a sharp risk in such neglect, and others would go, no, I'm not being treated like that. What is wrong with you? You're absolutely crazy, and run for the hills. People who experience emotional abuse and neglect in the past in childhood, they have this sense of normalcy with this treatment, and they sense it as like, I mean, this is the way it is. What do you mean that this isn't normal? And someone who knows that that's not normal comes in and tells you that it's not, but you think that they're the ones that are wrong, not you, because it feels normal to you. Others would be out of there. They'd be long gone, but people who experience this in their upbringing, they take chances at repair. They see the areas of pain, and they develop this caregiver type of personality, and they want to, care and smooth it out and iron it out, and care it enough, love it enough so that it stops treating them like that or behaving in that way. And we do this with people, and we think, you know what, as long as I'm quiet, as long as I don't say anything, as long as I don't upset them, then this relationship and the experience with them will be calm, will be comforting, and won't be upsetting. But it never ends up that way. And unfortunately, it can take a really long time until you realize that you're part of the equation, that you are the common denominator, that you were there in your upbringing in your childhood. You are here now as an adult in this relationship. And I was there and I'm here. Oh my God, it's me. Because when we're really coming out of this, we see that it's them. And we know logically and consciously they're doing things that are not right. And we believe that we're doing things that are, because in most instances and cases, we are. But then you get to a place where this pattern continues to show up, continues to be on repeat, and you go, oh, hello, I'm the common denominator. I am the one who's been in all of these relationships. And it takes getting to that point where we say, there's something about me that I desire to change because I want to be the one that sees this as crazy because it is. But part of me feels like it's normal. Part of me doesn't yet see it as crazy, but I want to, because if I were to see it as crazy, I'd be out of here. I would run away. But part of me stays and says, you know what? It's okay. I can smooth it out. I can just, be quiet, not say anything. I can calm the situation. I can pour enough love, care, attention into it so that it'll change because that's our desire. So see how we're already living in this world, in this space of desire and creation for change. And we have that ability, but that has to begin within. That desire and creation for change needs to begin within our unconscious beliefs, not in the external relationship in which we're experiencing all of this pain from. So there's a famous expression that says, when people show you who they are, believe them. Here's the thing though, you're looking and living through a different lens. It's hard to be clear-eyed about who's good and bad when you happen to grow up with a very heavy, distinctive, um, certain perspective to awkward truths about your own upbringing, about your own parents. Because as children, when we experience pain and when we experience things that are wrong, we don't blame our parents. We look up to them. We want to please them. We want them to be pleased with us and proud of us and love us. And so we don't think that anything's wrong with them. We think that something is wrong with us and the way that we are. And we believe that we need to change or we're not good enough when they're not happy. And so there's this perspective. It's kind of like when people show you who they are, believe them, and your whole upbringing, your whole childhood, your parents are showing you who they are, but you don't realize that it's unhealthy and it's not normal if there's emotional abuse and neglect involved, or emotional unavailability. You think it is, that's just the way it is. My parents are gone all the time. They're working all the time. I was raised by the TV. I was a latchkey kid. I was always over at my friend's house. My parents could care less where I was, who I was with, or what I was doing. And that was just the way it is. And then you find yourself in partnerships where they don't care where you are, what you're doing, or who you're doing it with. Or another example is that you grew up with ultra controlling parents. And then you find out later that you end up with a partner who's the same. You end up with ultra controlling partners and ultra controlling relationships where they always have to know where you are, who you're with, and what you're doing, when you're going to be back. They're literally dictating, navigating, and directing every little step and moment of your life. And you're thinking, what is this? And then you see this mirror reflection, and then you realize this experience that you have within you. Oh my God, I'm the common denominator. And I am feeling this way because I'm believing this way, because your unconscious beliefs are what create all of your thoughts. And a lot of us try to change our patterns, change our lives, and transform it through thought alone. They say, change your thoughts, change your life. That's true, but the key to changing your thoughts is through changing your beliefs. And that's the part that so many people miss. And they think, oh, I'm just going to change my thoughts. I'm going to think happy, positive thoughts about that person, about myself, and then things are going to change. And then you realize that they don't, because it's really less of your thoughts that need to change and more of your unconscious beliefs that need to change. And so if we are really being honest with ourselves and taking a deep dive and a look into our lives, we see this and we understand logically, okay, I'm not a kid anymore though. I can see how I was forced to do that or made to do that or had to do that to survive when I was a child, but I know I'm not a child anymore. I know I'm not 5 years old anymore. Now I'm 25, now I'm 35, now I'm 45. So why am I still acting in that way? Why am I still behaving in that way? I know I'm an adult, and a smart adult would just leave. A smart adult would get away. A smart adult wouldn't care about that. A smart adult wouldn't be so hurt by someone treating them like that, but we do. So logically, it doesn't make sense. Consciously, we can't figure it out because it's not a conscious process. It's an internal, unconscious process. And someone said this, they said, I've been struggling a lot with this recently as I'm actually now with someone who treats me well. And that's for the first time ever, but I'm more anxious than ever than I've ever been in a relationship. I think that some part of me feels lost without all the drama that accompanied previous relationships. And this is exactly what it is, because all of those previous relationships that were highly emotionally unstable and full of highs and lows and ups and downs and lefts and rights, all kinds of drama. And now you're in a stable relationship. It's like getting used to the thrill and the scare of constantly being on a roller coaster, and now you're just on a swing and you're like, where's all the wow, my god. I mean, it's fun riding a swing, it's enjoyable, it's still fun, but it's like, where has all that craziness gone? Now you're just la 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 la, isn't this fun? And the reason why that is because you come to expect that about yourself because of your experiences with that. And you realize, I want this. Like, I understand logically, this is healthier, this is normal, and this is what I actually dreamed of the whole time I was on the roller coaster and wanted to get off. I'm like, I saw the swings over there. Can I just be normal and go ride the swings like a normal person? And now I am. And now I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. Why do I know I shouldn't want to get back on the roller coaster and the craziness of life and the ride, but I feel like I want to, and I feel like I'm sabotaging this, and I want to get off of this ride. And that's what it feels like inside. So when you're in a healthier relationship, you can feel more anxious than you ever felt when you were on the roller coaster. And that's because your internal unconscious beliefs about yourself have changed, have been transformed, have been created and developed through the relationship and the experience that you had while you were on the roller coaster. So it's getting to that place where your unconscious beliefs are in full support of the life that you desire. So if you have that desire, if you have anxiety, you have desire, which is the really cool thing. And I'm not going to get too far into it in this video, but it's the way that I work with people when we're working with their unconscious minds, with transforming their unconscious beliefs. Almost everyone that comes to work with me privately, on our first session, I say, so how are we doing? And they're like, I'm really nervous, I'm really anxious. And I say, good, we've already begun, because your unconscious mind has opened up to something is happening. So anxiety is not always a bad thing. It's our belief about ourselves that we can label as such. But the anxiety opens up the desire for change. And that's where we begin. And we go within and really deeply connect to the core root beliefs that you have about yourself because of your experiences with relationships like that in the past that are impacting and influencing this one and saying, I don't know, this one's actually giving me more anxiety than that one over there was crazy. And so it's really a transformation of your internal unconscious beliefs that can have you feel safe on the swings instead of desiring to get back on the emotional roller coaster that you were so used to. So if that's what you're ready for, I'd love to connect with you. You can find out more at sarahpicaro.com. And I look forward to seeing you, connecting with you. Sending you guys so much love. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.